Hi, my name is Grace Holmes, and this is my final exam for Observation of Human Communications. So I decided to pick gun violence as my topic of interest. The two sides are pro-gun versus anti-gun, and this argument was not really gun-specific, so I could have gone into handguns or hunting and sport rifles or even military-grade weapons, but I just decided to stay with guns that are already legalized and easy to purchase. So I used 4 different sources, 2 for each side. For my first pro-gun source, I chose a man who decided to carry around a gun every day, and he kind of goes into his own story and why he decided to make that choice. My second pro-gun source is a middle ground video. They're pretty popular. It's 6 people brought into a room. 3 are designated to one side of the argument and 3 are for the other side of the argument. For this one, obviously, it was pro-gun and anti-gun. So I decided to focus on the anti-gun. So for my first anti-gun source, I chose a man who speaks on reasons that guns are pretty unnecessary and other ways that we can protect ourselves, like home security or a guard dog or other weapons that aren't as dangerous as a gun can be. And then the final source that I chose was an anti-gun guy who spoke on just the ways that we approach political problems and the possible ways that we should approach gun control, mostly attacking it as smaller, different problems rather than just going all into it at once and just pulling all the guns from everyone. So personally, I do think that the pro-gun side did a little bit better behaviorally. I gave them some higher scores, not because the argument was better, but they were just a lot more engaging, especially with those storytelling aspects. They also spoke in a way that was very easy to understand, and they had very well put together syntax. They would start telling a story and then throw their facts out after, where the anti-gun people, it was like they didn't have a story to tell, so they would just throw guns out or throw facts out. And if they were stories, it was fact-based stories, like how many school shootings there have been, or they know someone that has died from gun violence, rather than a personal attack on yourself where you're in a fight or flight situation and the only thing that you think is going to be able to save your life is a gun. I think both of the sides did a really good job appealing to emotions, but I do think that the pro-gun side did do quite a bit better. Obviously, they would start with a heart-touching story, like in video number 2, the middle ground video. There was a woman who was in a wheelchair, so obviously she can't run from anyone. She really can't protect herself that well, and she shared a story about how she actually had a man break into her house a couple of years ago and he raped her, and she couldn't even fight him off because she couldn't walk. So she speaks about how if she would have had a gun on her nightstand table, she probably would have felt a lot more comfortable in the situation and felt a lot more protected. And then she continued to basically strategically place other facts after that to make sure that it wasn't like, oh, I love guns, ha ha ha. Because that's kind of what pushes the bias into it and makes people not want to listen to the argument. And that's kind of what ruined the anti-gun side for me, especially with this video. Rather than just telling a short story or anecdote and then getting into their own opinion, they got so caught up in the facts that it kind of lost the emotion. And it just seemed like they wanted to prove their point and be right rather than actually adding to resolving the problem of gun violence. So a couple of things that I was able to take from class for these videos was in the second pro-gun video, which again was the middle ground, there was a lot of listening and critical thinking, especially empathetic listening. When the stories were being told, when people were saying, oh, I feel the need to carry a gun for my own safety for these reasons, it was really, really emotional. So it's pretty expected that there was a lot of empathetic listening, not only from the other 5 people in the room, but also from viewers watching at home, like myself. The second thing was the small group communication, which was also from that same video. Each group formed they grouped up based on their own opinions, which obviously could seem a little bit biased, but it's a lot easier to retain information from a video when you're getting both sides of it. And this was really effective because you could understand all sides of the argument. And then finally, there was a lot of nonverbal communication within all 4 of the videos. Everyone who spoke was very comfortable, but also alert, knowing how important this topic is with all of the school shootings within the US and mass homicides. And they also used a lot of facial expressions and softer hand gestures to make the audience feel a lot more comfortable while they were talking. And that's all. Thank you.